Spock is a character of deeply rooted internal conflict and duality, as we see him in this film. He is half human, half Vulcan. He's really torn between these two halves of himself, and at the point where we meet him in this story, he's defining the path that he wants to walk in his life, and in so doing, he feels really beholden to his Vulcan heritage, but also feels really connected to the stirrings of this human emotion that exists in him, as embodied by his relationship to his mother, who he loves very much. And then there's a bit of a jump to when he's a professor at the Starfleet Academy, where Kirk is a student, and there you start to see the sort of disparity between these two characters' points of view, where Spock is very contained and moderate and logical, and Kirk is something else.
The Jim Kirk that you see in this movie, at least in the beginning, is a conflicted, angry, self-destructive young man who's clearly intelligent and has a lot of promise, but is yet to find a focus and a direction for that energy, and I think is still pretty profoundly affected by the death of his father that happens very early on in this film. And when he's presented with a challenge by Captain Pike in the bar after getting beaten to a pulp, the challenge really is, can you escape the shadow of your father, and can you become as great of a man as he was, or even better? And I think that is the driving force of Jim Kirk, and the one that obviously propels him into the academy and creates conflict with the young version of Spock. But it is also exactly that kind of passion and drive that forges that bond at the end of the movie between Spock and himself.
Well, I think that they come from opposite ends of an ideological spectrum, and they each are firmly rooted in their own point of view, to the exclusion of any other way of looking at a situation or a scenario. And it's through the opening of that point of view and the softening of their edges and their boundaries and their resistances to anybody else that they actually cultivate an appreciation and a realization that opening up to someone else's experience and the way someone else might do something can actually benefit and serve the common good.
Yeah, essentially, I think Kirk is an impulsive man. He thinks with his fists in his mouth before anything else, and I think what he believes to be a detriment to the kind of team process, which is Spock's logical, reasoning mind, is in fact exactly what he finds that he needs in his own life. He can't operate without that kind of reason, or else the Enterprise would kind of become like a walking disaster. He needs the reason of Spock's mind, the thoughtfulness to counterbalance his own kind of emotional impulsiveness.
I mean, JJ's a magician in so many ways, literally and figuratively. But I think what he brought to the equation is this tremendous capacity to create worlds of this scale and scope and size, and that are so firmly rooted in spectacle and explosions and adventure and action, but anchor it in a sense of character and depth and relationships and connections. And it's a formula that is really, it's very potent and I think really exciting for audiences. I know it was certainly exciting for us to be a part of it.
I think a bit of everything. I think if you like big budget action adventure fun movies, this is exactly it. But also if you like something a little bit smaller, more character driven, this is it exactly as well. And I think it's his ability to marry the two, big spectacle and human drama, that is what is going to resonate hopefully with a larger fan base.
Also, I think it's surprising. I think people invariably, one way or another, even if they're not avid fans of Star Trek, many people have opinions of the franchise, of what it means, of how the stories are told, and this doesn't really bear any resemblance to anything that's come before it, and I think that's really surprising. I think the humor will surprise people. I think the heart will surprise people. So the element of surprise, I think, is something that I hope people come away with. So I think JJ, when JJ finds somebody that he relates to creatively, he really forges a relationship and maintains it. And April Webster, who cast the film with Alyssa Weisberg, those two ladies did a tremendous job of. I know my experience of working with them was so complete, and April was so generous and forthcoming with her point of view, and it was so helpful to me to be supported in that way from the very, very beginning. So I think that's also a testament to JJ, but ultimately to April, for being able to see some actors that might not normally be given the chance to do something like this as the best choices for these roles.
It's pretty genius. It's a testament to JJ's, wonderful abilities. One of his many abilities is his ability to cast well, and we just had a great time. And he knows that dynamic offset obviously plays on screen as well. You have Simon Pegg, who's one of the funniest men I know. John Cho gets to do stuff he's never done before. Carl Urban as Dr. McCoy, I think, will blow people away in terms of his paying homage to what DeForest Kelley had done before him. It's an amazing cast. Zoe Saldana, the only woman, the poor lone lady on set, is fantastic and smart and sexy and dynamic. It's a great team.
I just know that the blooper reel that they showed at our wrap party was
It's pretty spectacular.
really, really phenomenal. So I hope that they put that on there, because it's like the levity of that. There really was a tremendous spirit of enjoyment and of excitement the whole time we were working together, and I hope that somehow comes across, not just in the film as it's finally edited, but also in any behind-the-scenes stuff that they're able to include. Stranger Than Fiction. I just went on a little Emma Thompson kick, so I did a triumvirate of Stranger Than Fiction, Wit, and Last Chance Harvey.
I just watched his Annie Leibovitz documentary
that
his brother had on the plane,
Life
which
Through
is
the Lens.
pretty phenomenal.
Really great.
Pretty incredible.
Really cool.